All right, all right. It's Atlanta's number one hip hop station, Hot 107.9 Reec right here. We always go Facebook Live around this time, and we do IG Live also. But we have another friend of the show. Jeremy's here. What's going on, Jeremy?
Hey, thanks for having me here today.
Of course. And Jeremy's with 11 Alive News, and they're doing like a great piece that we just kind of talked about. Tell the people a little bit about what's going on today.
Today we released a new series. It is called Selling Girls, which that sounds like a terrible name for a series, but we chose it because that's exactly what's happening here in Atlanta. It's about sex trafficking and the fact that average American girls, they could be in the city or the suburbs, are being promised the world, and then they're being trapped and lured into the business of sex trafficking. They don't even realize it's happening. Some of them are involved in these deals. They're being controlled, and they feel so much guilt about it, they don't even realize they're victims at first.
Wow.
And it's something that needs attention. Again, it's called Selling Girls. It's streaming on 11alive.com, but I like to say the reason we're doing the series is really about saving girls. That's what we're trying to do to get people to talk about this.
Okay, that sounds like a great thing, especially with me being a father with daughters, younger daughters, 12, 10 years old. I'm very concerned about this, especially you gave me a little story when we first met. Tell me a little bit about what happened, because this is almost like the music mecca right now in the United States, and we've got a story that can kind of be close to heart.
Absolutely. Well, one of the girls in the series, she was targeted online. That's the way that these predators are reaching out to kids, and she met a guy on a dating site who told her, hey, I got a friend that is a music producer.
Right.
Well, like so many girls, this girl dreamed of being a musician. She wanted to make records. She wanted to sing. And so she was like, maybe this is my big break. There's this guy. He's nice. He seems like a good guy, and he's got a friend in the record industry. So you can guess where this goes. There was no music studio. There was no record deal. But she did end up being lured in to sex trafficking. She was preyed upon. $30,000 was paid over the period of time in which she was involved in this. Men who paid to have sex with a child.
Wow.
She never saw a dime. She didn't ask to do this. She was the victim.
Wow. So how old was she?
I believe she was 14. And the average, this will get your attention as a dad, the average age of a girl targeted is 15 and a half. So we're talking about 15-year-olds.
Sophomores in high school.
Yeah, children.
Wow.
Children.
Wow, that's just crazy. So right now we're tuned in. We were Jeremy of 11 Alive. Jeremy, what is your Facebook handle? Because we're on Facebook Live right now. What's your Facebook handle in case people want to get into this conversation?
Oh, great. It's Jeremy Campbell, 11 Alive. Yeah, I would love to hear from people.
Okay, we're talking about saving girls and saving daughters out there. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see in this docuseries.
Well, the first thing you're going to see is an explanation of exactly what sex trafficking is. And I think that's really important because I think everybody knows it's a problem, especially here in Atlanta. It's a $290 million industry in Atlanta alone. That is big business.
Wow.
And what we set out to do at the beginning of this series is explain how this business model works and tell it in a way that is not offensive, that's not going to embarrass anyone, that will open up the conversation for you to have with your daughter or have with your sister, have with someone who could be at risk for this. Let's face it, we know it's bad, but it's tough to talk about. And there are a lot of questions you don't feel comfortable necessarily asking. So the series helps have that conversation, and it will inform you on how this business model works. It's a business model made up of a trafficker, of a buyer or a John, as we've heard them called. But let's not be polite and call them Johns. These are child abusers.
Predators, right.
Predators, yeah. But the buyer pays for the sex, and then there is the child victim.
Now, we tuned in right now with Hot 107.9. Me, Reec. I'm here with Jeremy. We're talking about saving our girls, especially within the city limits of Atlanta. But this is a nationwide problem. Now, usually we tell our kids, don't get into the big van saying they got free puppies. Don't go up to people saying they got free candy. But now the predators are using online tools.
Yeah, these guys aren't in a van around the corner. They're going online. They're scoping out girls, sometimes from a distance. One girl in the series was identified working at McDonald's.
Wow.
She had a job there. You don't make a ton of money working at McDonald's, but it's good, honest work. And for a teenager, it can go a long way.
Right.
Well, a guy noticed her, and what happened next was a female targeted her on social media and said, "Hey, you work at McDonald's, right? You know, you could make a lot more money if you talk to my friend. He could take some pictures, this and that." And it starts off, they don't pitch it.
Right.
Hey, join sex trafficking.
Right.
It's manipulation. They
ease you into a dangerous lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So that's, it's having that conversation to know that they're going into our homes through online ways, through social networks, dating sites.
Now, would you recommend a parent watching with their child?
I'd say watch it first. We didn't make it for children.
Right. I understand.
But we did take an effort to make sure it's not offensive. But that would be the decision of the parent to, what maturity, depends what maturity level where your child is. So, watch it first as a parent, and then kind of go from there. But we did make an effort to make it in a way that will spark that conversation and blocks down that barrier, because stigma gets the best of us.
Right.
And when we don't feel comfortable being able to talk about something with the people that mean the most to us, we got to change that. We got to protect each other and break down that wall.
So you're saying have the uncomfortable conversation so you won't have the uncomfortable situation.
Well said. I like that line.
I'm going to borrow that.
I'm going to borrow that.
You can use that anytime. If you're just tuning in right now, we're on Facebook Live, and we're talking with Jeremy from 11 Alive News, and they have a great docu-series about saving children from the sex trafficking industry. You said $290 million?
$290 million made in Atlanta from sex trafficking. You believe that?
Yeah,
nationwide, it's $1 billion industry. And Atlanta is toward the top of that list of cities where people are making the most money. This is a business. At its heart, this is the business of selling kids. Wow. And that's what keeps it going. That's what is fueling it. It's fueled by people who want to pay for sex.
This is awful. So, usually when you think about the person with, like you said earlier, the John or the buyer, you would think about, the creepy guy in the corner. But that might not be the face of this.
Well, in our investigation, we came up with the profile. We found out that average buyer is about 40 years old. We went through thousands of cases, court documents, and we found some professions that just might surprise you. Right here in Georgia, we found pastors, we found teachers, we found wealthy businessmen who were involved in this, involved in paying for sex with children. It could be anyone. It could be the guy next door. Right.
It could be. If you're tuning in right now, we're Jeremy. We're talking about these incredible stories, some kind of heart-wrenching stories that he's mentioning right now, just trying to erase the stigma so we can open up the conversation about sex trafficking. I had the pleasure of talking with Ernie Johnson and his wife, and they were part of Street Grace. And they did a lot with sex trafficking. Are there any organizations you guys spoke with that are trying to stop this type of behavior?
Oh, absolutely. There's organizations here in Atlanta. There's also national organizations that we've partnered with. The National Center for Exploited and Missing Children is one of the groups that's leading the effort nationwide.
Okay.
And we consulted them to say, we don't want to just tell the problem. We want to tell people what they can do about it. And that organization said, the best thing we can do is get people talking about it, explain what it is, explain how it happens, and get parents talking to their kids about this.
This is great, man. This is a lot of great information. So where can we see this at?
It premiered today on 11alive.com.
Okay.
If you go to our homepage, look for Selling Girls, you'll see it right there on the main page. And it's a 6-episode series. This doesn't look like a news report. Looks more like something you might watch on Netflix or Hulu. Okay. So it takes about 20 minutes to watch the whole thing. Right. It's in small clips. If you have a break at work, take 5 minutes.
I'll be tuning in. I hope I don't get in trouble. But no, we definitely appreciate this information. So if someone may be concerned about their kid, they may be concerned about this may be going on. They might have an inkling, or maybe someone's friend might be in a situation. What would maybe a quick piece of advice you would give them?
Look for something that just seems off. If you suddenly notice, we all have kind of that second sense where it's like, that doesn't quite look right. So maybe it's that old phrase, see something, say something.
Yeah.
If something makes you suspicious, if suddenly someone seems just maybe a little controlling, or maybe there's a little too much allegiance to a friend of a child's. Just ask some questions, figure out how they met, where they first met would be a good, that's a good innocent question you can ask your kids. Like, how'd you guys meet in the first place? And, don't just jump in and say, is that a sex trafficker? Your kid's not going to want to hear that. But just kind of do a little background check and look for subtle signs. Like if there's a change in, mood, or a change in dress even. But mostly just make sure that your child knows it's okay if they get in a situation to come to you as a parent, because a lot of these victims get pulled into it, and the threat is, we'll tell your parents what you've been doing. Oh, wow. We're gonna tell them, and you're gonna be in so much trouble. So that's so important that your child knows you can come to them for help.
Okay, Jeremy, man, I appreciate your time. Once again, it'll be on 11alive.com. And we'll also share it on our website, hotspotatl.com. We'll put some active links up so you guys make sure that you tune in. This is some information that you definitely need to know, man. Once again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, too.
All right, this is Hot 107.9.